So it is another beautiful day. As you can see, the sun's schijnt. It's on my face. I can barely open my eyes anyway. En het weer is mooi. En ik dacht dat ik een vlog voor jullie allemaal moest maken. To talk about how far we've come. Because we're already in March. And that means that it's been 9 whole months since we relocated. And when you're in the thick of things, you often can't remember to be grateful for the things that you've gone through or the things that you've done. So this is essentially a gratitude vlog to talk about the milestones that we've achieved in the time that we've been here. The things that make you feel more settled, more comfortable in the Netherlands when you do move here in the beginning. So that's what this video is about. And I'm going to start off with the most difficult things or the not so fun bits of relocation before I go into the other bits that are more cultural or psychological or fun that people might not think of, that when they do meet those milestones that they're actually doing better than they think in their relocation journey. So I'm going to start off with the first one being the residence permits. That takes a long time, but like I've said in my other videos, if you find that it's too difficult and you can afford it, get help. So we did that, and getting the residence permit, going to pick up the card or the residence card or the residence ID was one of the biggest milestones, getting your BSN. So yeah, that's one of the things I'm grateful for, that even though it took us a few months for that to happen, we followed the process and it was good. It was a good feeling getting that and feeling settled, because when you don't have that, you are technically in limbo. You don't exist in the system. And Dutch or Netherlands runs on systems. So to not know where you're going or where you are, it's not an easy feeling. So I'm really grateful for that. And yeah, so that's the first thing, or the first milestone that I'm grateful for. Okay, so the other thing that everybody takes the opportunity to talk about in my comments anytime they see my face on the video is the housing. That's one of the biggest milestones for anyone. And I can say for anyone because, like I said, people comment all the time anytime they see a video about somebody who has moved from another country into Netherlands, to remind them that there's a housing crisis. And yeah, so for you to move to the Netherlands and find a home wherever it is that you choose to live is one of the biggest milestones. We went through a hassle. We moved about 3 times, staying at different places for short periods, like a month to 2 months, and just kept jumping around till we got the opportunity to get a place. And even that didn't come through the warning cooperatie. It was through a recommendation from a friend of my sister-in-law who got an offer and she couldn't take it, and then she recommended us. So housing is one of the extreme points, very touchy subject in the Netherlands, and I think that it's one of the milestones that I am going to be for a long time grateful for, finding a home in the Netherlands. So yeah, that's the second thing that, well, it grounds you literally. You have a place to live, to lay your head, to go out and come back to. So yeah, that's the second thing. Spring is actually piercing through a little. Check this out. Flowers are starting to come out. So that's a nice thing. So the third thing that I'm going to talk about is registering with the municipality or the gemeente in your, wherever vicinity that you live, which is the next obvious step after getting the house, which is something that everybody needs to do. But of course, it's a milestone, because then when you register, then you're now open to everything that the municipality offers with your health. Having your own, not your own, but like a GP for the municipality or the area you live. If you have kids, the education and all these little perks that come with belonging to a certain community. So registering with the municipality, it doesn't take long. That's the beauty of it. It doesn't take long, so long as you have the information from the previous 2 processes, getting your residence permits and getting your house, and now you are becoming counted as part of the community, or like you become a socially integrated person. So yeah, that's the third thing, and it does feel good. Yeah, it does feel good. So the fourth thing is you're moving around, just like I'm doing now. But I mean more of you're going and coming. Like you go out, use all the transportation systems that you can use. It might not feel like it, but when you're able to move around without worry, it's a good feeling. And without worry, by that I mean with the transportation access, you can go from the OV chip card that is the generic one, which is the blue one, to now having a personalized OV chip card. To me, it's a pretty cool milestone to also celebrate, because then now you are moving at your own pace, you're going and coming, you have something that you have something that belongs to you, that has you on it. You know, it's a personalized item, and that makes it feel much more homey, or much more like you're living here. And I'll follow that up with the ability, or the first time you actually go to a new city by yourself. Now, I'll probably make a video about some of the apps that help with transportation and other apps that help with living here in general, because in the Netherlands, there are a ton of apps. There's an app for almost everything that you want to navigate. And one of them is the 9292 or the NS app, and being able to navigate going somewhere using the NS app or 9292 coupled with Google Maps and all those things is something that you may take for granted, but when you're new to a place which is super organized, and sometimes where, depending on where you come from, seems a little intimidating, it's a really good milestone to be able to go somewhere and come back home by yourself, especially when you go somewhere really far from your city, because your city, you can literally do everything in your city. Let's just get that stated. But when you're able to go somewhere to do something else and come back home all by yourself, is another beautiful milestone that I personally am grateful for. Somebody might not see it that way, but I'm grateful for that. The next one also is about transportation, but a different type. And I'm talking about this lane. In the Netherlands, it's absolute sacrilege to catch yourself. And often, you know, with newbies or people who just move here, who don't know how strict it is, it's absolute sacrilege to catch yourself walking on the bike lane. So getting yourself a bike is what I'm talking about in terms of your transportation or moving around. Is one of the milestones, if you live in a city, that comes in super clutch. I bought my bike, or we got our bikes probably in the first month after living here, because in Utrecht, where we live, I mean, every city, every village, every town has it, but a lot of people move around on bikes in Utrecht. One of the towns that has won the most bikeable towns or cities in the world, Houten. It's also a suburb around here. And so a bike is an absolute essential, and buying yourself a bike is one of the key milestones of integrating into the Netherlands. And like I said in one of my videos, if you want to get yourself a bike, if you have money for the new one, then hey, do it. But otherwise, Marktplaats is your place. Just get yourself a bike on Marktplaats, service it, ride around, and yeah. So another key milestone, I would say, similar to being able to go to another city all by yourself, after you get your bike, it's knowing your own city, as in navigating the city that you live in, to be able to not just go to buy your groceries and back, or cycle to take your child to school and back, but just generally finding new spots, new activities, favorite restaurants, if you will, places to eat, discovering new routes that take you to the same place. Just that whole feeling of, yeah, I live here and I know my way around. It's also a psychological milestone, in my opinion, that might not count for most people, but I believe it's something that should not be taken for granted, because it makes you feel safe, more comfortable, like any of the other things that I've mentioned in the previous points. So just knowing your way around, it's a simple milestone to be grateful for. Yeah. So I remember the first time that I made a conversation with someone in full Dutch. I'd gone to get something in Albert Heijn, and I mean, it was summer, the weather was just a little nice, and then I was paying, and you know, they have to check your bag. And the conversation was, yeah, nice weather, it's a bit warm, you know, went back and forth and have a good day and blah, blah, blah. But the one thing you should remember is that the Nederlandse taal is vrij moeilijk te leren. So if you're able to make a conversation in Dutch, your first full conversation in Dutch, I gotta tell you, it feels extra good. And that's one of the milestones that makes you feel all jiggy by yourself or in yourself, that you're able to just have a conversation Because let's get it straight. I mean, people say that Dutch people speak English, 90 to 93% of them speak English. But the first time you meet somebody, they don't approach you with English. They speak Dutch first before you have to tell them, oh, maybe I don't understand, and then they change it. So that's one thing to remember. It's a good milestone that if you're able to speak Dutch fully with somebody, count yourself happy and good to go. Another thing I'll add to that is just generally starting to get or grasp a few words when people are speaking, or no matter how fast they're talking, and starting to understand bits and pieces of what they're saying makes you feel good that, hey, yeah, you're getting better at this, you know? You're integrating or assimilating or settling in nice. Yeah, so the next milestone I'm gonna add might seem a little controversial, but I did mention in one of my videos that it's not that easy, especially when you come here alone, to make friends, unless you really know how to do it, going out, you know, making conversation. It's not as easy to make friends here in the Netherlands. So getting invited to a Dutch birthday party, and that's just a whole different culture on its own, because Dutch birthday parties often surprise people who don't know it, you know, just sitting around and no music, just chit-chatting and all that. But you can live in an apartment building, for example, or a neighborhood, and probably not see your neighbors for a very long time, or not even know who lives there, you know? So it's rather closed in that sense, in my opinion. But if you are able to get invited, as in you have enough trust and rapport with people to get invited to a Dutch birthday party, then that's a huge milestone for you. So cherish that. And yeah, like I said, the Dutch birthday culture is a whole different topic to do, but I think this is one of the quirky milestones, I'll put it that way, that you should cherish if it ever happens to you. And remember the last time I was making a video that I was talking about Wouter being cold, even though the sun was out. Well, today it's lekker warm. Real warm, actually. So yeah, I might have to get back home and take off my jacket and chill for a bit. Yeah, so my final milestone to be grateful for when you live in the Netherlands, or you start living here, is the one that has to do with adding something new to your routine. You know, usually when you come here, everything feels, you know, I won't say restricted, but you know a few things that you do. You go out to the grocery store, you get your stuff, you run around your city. You know particular points that you go to when you come back. And if you have work to do, you do that work. And if you have a child, you pick them up or you take them to school, all these little things. But one thing that we often take for granted is that when you settle in and you're calm, or you're feeling comfortable enough, and you add something new to your routine, like even just going to the gym, or if you're religious, finding a church or a new church if you didn't like your first one, or a certain community, just adding something new to your routine is something that you might take for granted, but it's not easy to have something for yourself that makes you feel good, or that makes life a little better than when you started living in a place when it was all, you know, new and not so easy to adapt and everything. So yeah, these are some of the few milestones that I cherish or I'm grateful for. I want to know if I missed out on any of them that are maybe particular to the Dutch way of living. You can put it in the comments below and let me know. And also, if you have particular ones that you remember vividly, like enjoying or, you know, coming to terms with, let me know in the comment section. And yeah, I'll catch you in the next one.